Welcome to tutorialsinhand.com. In this video tutorial, we are going to check how to print the multiples of 2 in Java using while loop. So quickly, first check the logic. What should be the logic to write the program? So here we have a chart which shows the numbers which are multiple of 2 and the numbers which are not the multiples of 2. And if you see, there is a logic behind that. So when you divide 2 by 2, what happens? It leaves remainder as 0 because 2 into 1 will be 2 and we will be left with nothing, right? If we consider 4, then 4 when divided by 2 also leaves remainder because 2 into 2 will be 4 and we will again be left with 0. Similarly, you go for 6, 8 and 10, it will divide these numbers completely, thus leaving the remainder as 0. We do not get any remainder in this case, right? So we do not get any remainder in this case. So remainder is 0. But on the same note, if we check these numbers like 3, 5, 7, 9 and 11. So when we divide 3 by 2, then what happens? 2 into 1 will be 2 and we will be left with 1 as a remainder. How? 2 into 1 will be 2 and you will be left with 1 as a remainder. If you go for 5 and you divide 5 by 2, you will get 2 into 2 is equals to 4 and 1 will be left as a remainder, which you are seeing over here. And similarly, if you consider 7, when you divide 7 by 2, you will get 1 as a remainder because 2 into 3 will be 6 and 1 will be left as a remainder. Similarly, you can check for these numbers as well, or you can pick any random number which are multiple of 2 and not a multiple of 2 and try to divide by 2. If you get the remainder as 0, then you can say that they are multiple of 2, and if you get any positive remainder, that means 1. In the case of 2, you will only get 1. So in that case, you can conclude that the number is not a multiple of 2. So the logic becomes very simple. So you have to check remainder, right? So to check what is the remainder, you can use the modulus operator. We have already explained about this operator earlier. Here also we will tell this modulus operator. When we will apply, it will give us the remainder when any number is divided by 2, right? So the logic becomes very simple. We will check in if condition. If the number that we are testing like 2, 4 or 3, 5 something like this, when divided by 2 is leaving remainder as 0, then we can say that okay, it is multiple of 2 and then we can print it. Otherwise we can omit it. And here we are going to use while loop. If you want to use for loop, we have already prepared one video tutorial earlier where we have printed the multiple of 5 using for loop, so you can check that. So let's see the logic for while loop. So here we assume that you are aware about while loop as well, but here also we will give you explanation to what is happening, so you don't need to worry much. So let's start. We have to print the multiples of 2 between 1 to 20, right? So here we are considering just 1 to 20. You can consider any range when you start coding or when you try to code the same logic, right? So let's begin. So we want to start from int I is equals to 1, right? So we want to check the numbers which are multiple of 2 between 1 to 20. So let's initialize it to 1, and then what we have to do, we have to take while loop, and while loop will keep executing till when? Till this number becomes less than or is equals to 20. So even if I is less, then also this will turn out to be true, and when I becomes is equals to 20, then also it will become true. And if I crosses the range of 20, that means it becomes 21, then this will turn out to be false and you will not enter in the while loop. So for only true conditions you will enter in the while loop. Now you have got I is equals to 1. You have said the condition that I will go till 20 from starting from 1, right? If any value of I is less than 20, we will keep on executing what is written within it, right? So now what you have to do, you know that you have to your value of I is 1 currently, so you have to increase this value after every iteration, right? So in that case, don't forget to do I plus plus, otherwise you will get an infinite loop. So here we are getting I plus plus, and now this program is perfect for looping till 20 because it will start from 1, and once it enters the loop, it will increase the value of I by 1 for the next iteration, and in the next iteration it will become 2, and so on. In successive iteration, the value of I will keep increasing till it reaches 20, right? So we have got the while working fine, where it will keep on increasing till it reaches 20. Now what is the condition? So every time we will get some number Like first time when we have I equals to 1, we will get 1, right? So 1 less than equals to 20 will turn out to be true because 1 is less than 20, and we will enter in the loop. So before this I plus plus is done, we have to implement our logic for this one, where we want to check if number when divided by 2 leaves as remainder as 0, we can print that number. So how we can do that? We can filter the things using if, and within if what we will say, if I, this is the number, I is the number. So here you can consider these 2, 4, 6, 8 values that are coming, or 2, 3, 4, 5, all the values that are coming will be coming from this I, and we are doing I divided by 2, right? So you can do I divided by 2, and when I, instead of divided, we want to get remainder, right? So we can get remainder by using modulus operator. So this is the modulus sign. So once you use this one on I mod 2, so here you will get the remainder, and what we need as a remainder? We need as a remainder 0. And if we get the remainder as 0, we can say that okay, this is a multiple of 2 and please print that number. So in that case you can simply say that okay, I have got a number which is multiple of 2, and thus print that. And once it is printed, now your if block completes, you will go to I plus plus, and this will increase the value of I from 1. So 1 will become 2, but here for the case of 1, you will not enter in the if block, because when you will check 1 less than equals to 20, then this will turn out to be true because 1 is really less than 20. But when you will enter inside the if, you see there is a filter, and the filter says that okay, now I will test whether you satisfy one more condition or not. So here 1 mod 2 will be tested, and we will try to check whether 1 mod 2 will give you remainder as 0 or not. So 1 mod 2 will not give you remainder as 0 because 1 mod 2 will give you remainder as 1. So you will get the remainder as 1 because 2 into 0 will be 0, and you will be left with 1 as a remainder. So here this will turn out to be false, and when it turns out to be false, we do not enter within this if block, and you come out of the if block, and then you increase the number saying that okay, 1 was not multiple of 2, so let's check for the other number, and this will increase 1 to 2, and in the next iteration the value of I becomes 2, and now you will check 2 less than equals to 20 or not. It will be correct, and while will say yes, this is correct and this is true, so I will let you enter into my gate, and this is the gate pass. So you have entered within the while, and now again this if will filter whether 2 mod 2 is equals to 0 or not, and it will check that 2 when divided by 2 will leave remainder as 0, and so this says okay, you are satisfying the condition. So this condition turns out to be true, and it will enter in the if block, and when it enters in the if block, you will simply print the value of I, that is 2. So 2 will be printed as the multiple of 2, right? And then again it will come out of the if by completing its task and increase the number from 2 to 3, and this will become 3 in the next iteration, and when again it will be checked whether 3 is less than equals to 20 or not, and 3 is less than 20, so it will again turn out to be true. You will enter within this while loop, and then again 3 will get filtered whether it is multiple of 2 or not, and it will check 3 mod 2 is equals to 0 or not, which will not turn out to be true because 3 mod 2 is not equals to 0, rather it will give the number as 1. So 3 mod 2 will give you remainder as 1, and thus you will not be able to enter into this if block. So because it turns out to be false, and the if does not give the gate pass to this value of I, which is 3, so it does not enter within this particular if block, and again it increases the value of I by 1, and 3 becomes 4, and 4 when checked with 20 it will turn out to be true. 4 is less than 20. Now 4 will be filtered whether it is multiple of 2 or not, and when it checks for divided by 2 is equals to 0 or not, and it will see yes, 4 gives you remainder as 0 when divided by 2, because 2 into 2 will be 4, and you will be left with nothing. So this turns out to be true, and the value of I gets gate pass, and it enters in the if block and prints the value of I as 4. And similarly you can keep on iterating and checking the logic for each number of values that I poses during each iteration, and you will see this logic working fine, and it will just allow the gate pass to the numbers which which are really multiple of 2 and leaves remainder as 0, and any number which does not give you remainder as 0 will not be allowed to enter into this one, and thus the number will not get printed. That is as simple as that. And once the task is done by if, you are incrementing the value of I, so that next iteration of I will have a incremented value till it reaches 20, and once it reaches 20 it will be allowed to enter because 20 will be equals to 20. So this will also satisfy and it will enter inside the if. It will check whether 20 mod 2 leaves remainder as 0 or not, and it will find okay, it also leaves remainder as 0 because 2 into 10 will be 20 and you will be left with 0 as a remainder, so 20 will also get printed. Now 20 will be incremented by 1 and it will become 21 in the next iteration, and this 21 less than is equals to 20 does not satisfy any of the condition because 21 is neither less than 20 and 21 is neither equals to 20. So while we'll say okay, enough of the processing of the data, now you don't satisfy the condition because your value exceeds the limit that we have over here, so 21 will not be allowed to enter, and thus it will come out of the while loop and it will not execute at all. So while has completed its tasks. Once it has completed its task, you can simply print a message task completed. And now if you run, you will see all the multiples of 2 getting printed on the console between 1 to 20. So see, these are the numbers which are multiple of 2 and are getting printed, and once you come out of the while loop, you are saying that okay, task is completed. So these are the multiples of 2 and it is very simple, right? And if you want to filter that which are not the multiple of 2, if you want to print the numbers which are not a multiple of 2, then also you can simply modify this condition and you will get the result. What will be the condition modification? You will check whether the remainder is not equals to 0. So you can say that okay, these are not the multiple of 2. If you want to check that, you can check this is not equals to, right? So now you are saying that if I mod 2 does not give you remainder as 0, this is not signed, so you are saying I mod 2 not equals to 0, then print these numbers. Now if you print, you will get all the numbers which are not multiple of 2 between 1 to 20. So print and you will get 1, 3, 5, 7 and so on. See, now you are getting not multiple of 5. Just having a minor change in the condition, you can just alter the logic of the program. So here you are getting all the numbers which are not multiple of 2. Since the program was check whether it is a multiple of 2 or not, so we again get it back to the original logic that will give you the numbers which are multiple of 2. You can increase or decrease the logic. Suppose you are asked to print between 10 and 30. So in that case, you can just change it like this. You can initialize the starting point 10 and you can change the limit till 30. And now they check from 10 till 30 and you will get all the multiples of 2 between 10 and 30. See, you are getting 10, 12, 14 and till 30, and then finally task completed because it is filtering all the numbers which are not multiple of 2 like 11, 13, 15 are getting filtered because they do not get the gate pass, as their condition turns out to be false because they are leaving the remainder as 1, and here we are checking only for the values that give you remainder as 0 to be printed, right? So hope you have understood the logic, and if you have really enjoyed this video tutorial, then please don't forget to subscribe our channel so that we also grow along with you.